I'm Drew Matthews. I've been with TUTCO for about 6 years in product design engineering, as well as product development.
I'm Keaton Stewart. I've been with TUTCO for about 6 years, and I work primarily with the E-Series flippable duct heater.
The E-Series heater is one of the most versatile heaters on the market.
If you happen to be on a job site and you realize, oh my gosh, I've got a left hand or a right hand heater, fortunately for you, if you've got the E-Series, you don't have to worry about that because we can be flipped in a multitude of ways, even for example, vertical duct, right?
Vertical airflow, horizontal airflow. The panel could be flipped to the left orientation or right orientation, or up or down in a vertical. The only way it can't be mounted is in the bottom of the duct.
We have special applications for bottom mount duct heaters, which you can find on our website. But right now we're going to focus on our standard E-Series duct heater.
So many of our clients love the flippability aspect of this heater just because they don't have to specify left or right hand orientation at time of order. They can, in fact, order a heater and then figure out how they're going to mount it in the field.
So Drew, what are some good applications for a duct heater? You know, I realize that this is a flippable product, but what exactly would I be using this for?
People use these all the time for reheat applications or supplemental heat. Say that their heat pump is not big enough and they need a little extra heat in a portion of their of another room that doesn't currently get supplied with enough heat. They can add one of the duct heaters directly into the duct to supply that room with enough heat.
So whenever these are installed, in accordance with our installation instructions, these are going to maintain UL 1996 and ETL in both Canada and the US. So as long as you're installing this appropriately, you're going to have a listed product, which is very nice to have in the field.
The E-Series heaters are fully configurable with size. They're able to go from very small to very large, just depending on what your needs are.
I've heard it described as small as a bread box or as large as a bread truck.
That's right.
So believe it or not, these heaters can get up to 10 foot in height and width. So the product is as versatile as you want to make it. It is a configured product, meaning your height and your width, your electrical specifications, your voltage, up to 600 volts. We've got single phase, 3-phase application. So whatever you need in your specific application, TUTCO can make a specific heater exactly for you.
The E-Series is designed here at TUTCO to meet or exceed UL 1996 standards for sheet metal thickness and construction. We make all this in-house.
Yep, that's right. So we cut, we form, we weld all the racks, all the sheet metal, even the heating elements are made right here in Tennessee. Our product is made of G90 galvanized steel, so the entire enclosure and the heating element wrapper are all going to be the very minimum specification for UL 1996. As I said earlier, we've got quite the variety of sizes available, so we actually will choose the appropriate sheet metal to use for the size heater, so you don't have to worry about any structural integrity issues.
Our racks are all welded out of galvanized steel as well. They have very low back pressure because of the openness that you see in the design. This is nichrome wire for the heating element. We have a couple options. We can do 80-20 wire or A wire, which is more rated for corrosion resistance.
Right now, whenever we're first establishing our heater, we need to determine whether or not we're going to be a slip-in or a flange mount. So what's the best approach here?
So slip-in allows you to cut a hole in one side of the ductwork and then slide this portion of the heater into that area. A flange mount would have wider flanges in this area, and it would allow you to bolt your ductwork up from either side. So the idea behind the sizing on slip-in and flange mount is slip-in, you want to give your actual duct size, and then the heater is going to be slightly undersized to be able to slide in to the inside of that ductwork. Flange mount, on the other hand, is going to be your exact duct size from this surface to this surface, and from this surface to this surface, so that the ductwork can bolt up and seamlessly allow air to flow through the wrappers.
Excellent. So as long as I'm entering my duct height and width, no more extra math.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Perfectly. All right.
On the door of the heater, we've got the hinges, the labels, and some accessories could be mounted on the door as well. This would be a disconnect. Let's open this beast up.
Yep, so we got it. As you can see, all of our heaters come with your wiring schematic already in place. Any additional details we've also included inside this control panel. So throughout the heater, you'll see 105C appliance wire. We use that throughout the heaters, and they're rated for our listing for appropriate amperages. So Drew, you mentioned that this heater had a disconnect switch. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
Yeah, so the disconnect switch is something that this person wanted on their heater. It's totally configurable, so that means every accessory inside it could be added if you want it. So if you deem it necessary to have a disconnect switch in your heater, then by all means you can have that.
So if I don't select a disconnect switch, what's going to happen?
So there will be a terminal block in position there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, still somewhere to land your wires.
Very good. And I notice here coming out of the disconnect switch, we've got, looks to be power fusing. Is that something that's mandatory as well?
That's it's not mandatory unless it's over a 48 amp limit per NEC. We add power fusing automatically if it's over that limit, just so we maintain the NEC and UL 1996 requirements. Excellent.
So all I have to do is enter my heater specs, and all the sizing and population happens automatically?
That's right. Yeah, you can add whatever accessories you want, like an airflow switch,
okay,
or a transformer, or a SCR control. Airflow switch works with differential pressure, so it's a big diaphragm inside this box you see there.
Gotcha.
And if it has 0.05 inches of water column, that's the minimum set point, it can make the switch. So it uses 2 ports to determine that. So one will be open to atmosphere on this heater. The other one will be measuring the pressure in the duct. And that's how it would gain the differential pressure. So it only operate whenever the fan is running and there's a positive pressure in the duct.
Interesting. So I had a situation where we had to move our heater. Fortunately, it was an E-series heater, but we had to move it to the draw-through side of our ducting. So is that going to still apply here?
So what you'll need to do if you have a draw-through application is you'll need to move the tube to the other port on the airflow switch.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good. So I also heard you mention the transformer. Our system that we've already got a thermostat, and we're going to be providing a 24-volt signal. Is that going to interfere here?
This heater is a SCR control, so that means it would need a 0 to 10 volt DC input, analog input, in order to operate.
So my standard thermostat is not going to work for SCR.
That's right. What you see on the wall here is called an SCR.
Okay.
It's mounted on a heat sink that protrudes from to the outside of the heater, as you can see here. So what that does is allows the heater to modulate and maintain the perfect set point.
I see a step controller here too. How would I know when I need a step controller when I'm getting an SCR?
I like to say that if you pick the SCR as an option, the step controller will only come along if it's needed, because anything over that 48 amp mark, step controller will automatically get added to be able to carry the subsequent circuits after the first one.
Good.
Yep.
Excellent. Now I see a few contactors here. I also see some, what are these, thermal limits?
They are thermal limits,
okay.
Yep. And there's 2, this one has 2 manual limits, okay, and 1 auto reset limit. We put limits on either side, hence the flippability. So before the E-Series, there was only 1 manual, and it always had to be at the top. So what we did on the E-Series is we put 2 manuals, and one's always on the top.
Excellent.
Whichever way you flip it.
Very cool. So, I've landed my power to the heater. I've landed my controls. Is there any other features that we might need to mention?
This is called the dust tight box. So this has a seal that goes around the edge that seals up against the door and keeps dust from penetrating into the box. We've also got some knockouts along multiple places around the box. that'll allow you to bring your power wires in wherever is convenient for you.
So I flipped it upside down, but I've got a knockout for any position imaginable, it looks like. We've got them all around the control panel. You know, is there anything else that I might be interested in as far as selecting a duct heater?
You can get pilot lights. We offer that. So for staged heat, if you want to know that stage 1 is on, or stage 2 is on, or stage 3 is on, we can have pilot lights mounted into the side of the box so that you can know that.
You know, I've been noticing that it takes a while for my air to actually reach my duct heater. It's kind of far off from the central unit.
We offer a time delay for that very thing, so that the heater elements don't kick on before the fan is able to get up to speed and provide the heater with enough air.
Very good.
We also offer a fan relay as well in the place of a airflow switch.
So you mentioned that this is an SCR controlled heater. I'm gonna need a 0 to 10 signal. That's not something I can provide at my site. You know, we've got a standard 24-volt thermostat.
You're right. So a lot of people will order the thermostat with duct probe along with the heater, and we can supply that to you as well.
I think I actually have one right here.
That's it. Yeah.
Excellent. So you mentioned not only the room thermostat, but a duct probe as well?
That's right. So what we'll do is we'll place those inside the box, usually taped to the wall of the enclosure, and they'll be available for the installer to use. The duct probe will go either upstream or downstream, depending on how you want to use the stat, in the duct itself. And the thermostat can be wall mounted and let you adjust your set point. And you can find all those install instructions for both of these in the hookup diagrams in the back of our install instructions.
That's my worst nightmare, is reading through those thermostat guides. So there is a reference that we can use, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. We've got some easy steps to be able to set those appropriately without too much trouble.
Very good. So Drew, I know that these installation instructions are going to be provided with the heater, but let's say we've installed the heater and happen to misplace that documentation. Is there anything we can do?
Nobody does that, are you kidding? No, if you visit our website, you can get a copy of the install guide for the E-Series heaters at your convenience.
Perfect. So do I just contact customer service if I want to configure one of these products, or what exactly do I need to do?
No, that's available on the website as well. So once you log on to our website, you can go to the very top and you can configure your heater through the portal.
People have asked us several questions about, can these TUTCO heaters be used to transition from gas to electric? And the answer is yes. The best thing that you can do to try this out is visit our website. For one, we've got multiple calculators they can use that can make this conversion a little more straightforward. We also have our quoting portal, which will instantly give you everything you need, and by that I mean we can quote your heater, we can give you a price, we can give you cut sheets. All it takes is a quick registration on our website and you can have everything you need.